One of those guys that I found deep in the South. We're talking way down in southern Mississippi. He was born in a town with 200 people. He went to high school in a town with 400 people. He is deep South Mississippi bred. What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master of Football back at it again. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things college football, pro football, Madden, EA college football, the NFL draft, anything related to American football, hit that red subscribe button. You'll not be disappointed. Also, hit the like button too. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys, here's a pro tip. If you ever have a YouTube channel, make sure when you buy your brand new Shure XM7B mic, you actually plug it in. Anyways, continuing on to our regularly scheduled programming. So I love the NFL draft, and the reason why is because it gives every single team an opportunity to win and, you know, kind of do well out there. So every single team can feel like they won, even though it's a subjective view as to whether or not you won the NFL draft or not. I love that. First round, second round, third round, so on. However, for those of you who've been here before, you guys understand what the Obscure Prospect series is. It's making sure we can highlight those guys that are picked in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and undrafted free agents who make teams that make impacts. Guys who I think that might not fit every team perfectly, but will fit some teams very, very well. One of those guys that I found deep in the South. We're talking way down in southern Mississippi. He was born in a town with 200 people. He went to high school in a town with 400 people. He is deep South Mississippi bred, pure boy. He is a defensive lineman. And again, we've got some obscure prospects. We got a corner, tight end. We got an edge rusher. We got an offensive lineman. We don't have anybody in the interior of the defensive line. We got my boy from Mississippi State, Mr. Cameron Young. So your boy Cameron Young from Meadville, Mississippi, and I'm letting you know right now, seriously, it's like a town of 400 people enrolled in Mississippi State at May 31st of 2018, and he had offers from Louisiana, Lafayette, Purdue, Southern Miss, and UAB. Ultimately decided to go play in Starkville, like you said, redshirted his first year, and then played 4 straight years. And your boy, 6'4", 300 pounds, put on a little bit of weight and also got himself some braces. So we see your boy down here, and again, this right here is a pro workout that he's got, but we see Cameron Young, defensive tackle, 6'3", 315, put on a little bit of weight there. I guarantee you it's more than just weight that he put on in terms of, he put on more muscle than fat. He probably burned off some of that baby fat. But your boy over here from, like I said, from the middle of nowhere, Mississippi, look at it. He's got a major in industrial technology. The thing about him, and you'll see this in his stats, he appeared and started in all 13 games, finished with 37 tackles, including 3 tackles and for loss and 1 sack. He's not a stat monster. What he is what he is. He is a gap mover. He is a gap holder. He is an immovable object out there in the defensive line. He frees people up to go make plays, and that's what he did. You can see it in the stats that he had. Over here on ESPN.com, you'll check and see. So freshman year, and then this shortened year with 2020, you'll see the fact that even when he got into the starting lineup junior and senior year, he had 53 tackles, 38 tackles, 2 passes defended, 1 pass defended, 1 sack his senior year. He had a pick his junior year, but again, his main job is to line up in the A and B gaps and cause havoc. In that, as a matter of fact, you can see that from the Pro Football Focus stats that he had, that your boy was out there definitely playing a lot of inside games, and he was winning a lot of them too. So Pro Football Focus is a paid subscription, so I can't share my screen here. But again, I want to make sure I can go over what his stats were. So especially you can see by his alignment. So first of all, like you said, in 2022, he had an okay grade. He had 1 sack, he had 1 hit, he had 16 hurries, which is decent for an interior pass rusher. But his snaps by alignment. So in 2022, in the A and B gaps, he had 268 snaps in the A gap and 316 snaps in the B gap. He had 8 over tackle, he had 0 outside the tackle, and he had 6 off ball, probably in some weird, complex, blitz stunt packages and this and that. But you see that for the most part, 598 defensive snaps, 316 in the B gap, 268 in the A gap. That's like 90%, something like that. Your boy with a 69.1 run defense grade, pretty high, pretty good. Did really well, especially in the Auburn and the Kentucky games. Struggled a little bit in the LSU game for sure, and also in the Georgia game and the Illinois game as well. But for the most part, again, his job is not to create a lot of stats or things like that. His job is to free people up behind him to go make plays. So we come over here to check him out from NFL.com. And you'll see the fact that, again, right here, his score is 6.2, which is he will eventually be an average starter. He is what he is. Like I said, he's a guy who you're going to pick in the 5th, 6th, 7th round who will eventually be a starter. 6'3", 304 pounds, 34.5-inch arms. Really, really long arms for how big he is. Now, again, the thing about him is his paths can get a little high, but the good thing about it is that he makes up for the fact that his arms are so long. He can keep people at distance. He does a really, really good job with doing that. You see the fact that Lance Zierlein here says that he's a naturally powerful prospect who's able to take on capable challengers and come out in good shape despite playing with an elevated pad level. Young plays with early hands and a heavy punch to gain position quickly against blocks. He does a nice job fitting against washed down blocks and maintaining gap integrity against zone. He has the size, length, and strength to become a proficient run defender, but offers very little pass rusher. While Young be seen as a natural nose tackle, he could see snaps as a 5 technique as well. I personally see him as a 5 technique too. Again, he could put on weight, who knows, 315, could get to 335, whatever that is. Me personally, the arm length, the high win rate against blockers in their first hands, does an impressive shed to tackle transitions, does the dirty work to allow linebackers to flow freely. I see him as a 3-4 defensive end, a 5 technique over a tackle, stands the guy up 2 gaps. That's what I see him doing really, really well. Again, you see that some of his weaknesses down here. He tends to play tall, can be reached and sealed by quicker guards, sluggish lateral movements, and suboptimal as a twister. Could see limited snaps against volume passing teams. So again, he's going to be one of those guys. I do think that I've heard this about the NFL. With the more and more that teams are playing 2 high safeties, they're not going to be able to, because of how good the passing games are, you're not going to be able to bring safeties down as much to defend against the run. So that means you're going to need interior defensive linemen who can really hold the point of attack much more, even if teams are passing, because if they ever run the ball, you want to make sure you have a way to stop the run. You do that with dudes with really long arms who are good at the point of attack, like Cameron Young. And I wanted to make sure I included this highlight here. And again, everybody go subscribe to Prospects. Okay, it's only got 22.25 subscribers, but he does a great job out here putting all these people on blast. It does a really, really good job of making sure you can see all the obscure prospects. And again, that's the reason why I like him. Most of my guys that I'm looking for are on this channel. So this right here, again, you see this is right up here in the A gap. This is a passing down, but for the most part, these guys, these outside guys are here play over the tackles, and he plays inside the middle here. But when he gets a pass rush on this play, he goes with a long arm, which is weird. You usually see a long arm from the edge here, a long arm, and they go around. He does a long arm up the middle, which is kind of an unorthodox way of doing it. He probably wants to use 2 hands there, but his arms are so long, he can get to you before you can get to him, pushes this offensive lineman back, rushes Bryce Young out here to the left, and ultimately he throws the ball away. Really, really good job of highlighting what he does well. And my pro comp, I know it's Cameron and Cameron, just stick with me here. My pro comp is Cameron Hayward. Now, I know here's the thing, is his perennial all-pro with his grade. A lot of people really liked him, but the thing about these guys is they're very similar in a lot of ways. So 6'5", 294 as opposed to 6'3", 300 pounds. Arm length 34 and a quarter. Very, very similar to our boy Cameron Young. You come down here and you check him out as well. It says right here, he's versatile big defensive end that can play in the 4-3 or 3-4 at the next level. He's very strong with a great frame, delivers a violent punch. Same thing here. Great punch with long arms, sound leverage, versatile athlete that can play multiple positions along the defensive line. Doesn't have the burst to consistently get after the quarterback or make plays from the backside. Plays with a narrow base. A bit inconsistent with his play, takes too long to recognize screens and draws, and gets caught upfield too often. And again, for the most part, you see the fact that maybe some lack of agility as a defensive lineman. Cameron Young, Cameron Hayward, kind of the same thing here, but for the most part, again, Cameron Hayward, defensive lineman for the Steelers, played plenty of 3-4 defensive end. I think him and Cameron Young, same thing. They're going to be guys who can hold the point of attack. Whether or not that Cameron Young can develop into the pass rusher that Cameron Hayward is, I don't know, but that's my pro comp for him. I really, really like it from a size perspective. So you're looking at Mississippi State defensive lineman Cameron Young. Super long arms, okay? Not necessarily great in pass coverage, but his job is to free up gaps for guys behind him to go make plays. I think he's, like I said before, most of these guys, they're going to be obscure prospects. They're going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're not going to fit every single scheme, but they are going to be perfect for some schemes. Him, 3-4 defensive end, maybe even a nose tackle, something like that. His job, super long arms, play over a tackle, 2 gap. That's where I see him making the most plays at the next level. So again, if you're a 3-4 team picking later in the draft, you want a guy 4, 5, 6, 7, I think you should look for Cameron Young out there from Mississippi State. All right, guys, what's your opinion of Cameron Young? And again, go out there and check out, I urge you to check out that video from Prospects. He does a really good job out there. Go check him out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But again, that is it for today. I will see you guys later. I am out.